Good luck, 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
We now return to something barely worth your time. Already in progress.
The whole thing is fucking pointless.
The Alan Cox Show.
On 100.7 WMMS.
$35192 and text me for something you can watch live if you like at AlanCoxShow.com. Thanks again to Walper Hemiship for assisting in the video department. Guardians are off tonight. They are on their way back from Toronto. They only won one in that 3-game series against the Blue Jays, but the Jays are going to be here to play the Guardians in the friendly confines this coming weekend. They'll start hosting the Mariners tomorrow night, first of 3 against Seattle. That is a 6:40 start tomorrow night. And you'll hear all of it here on MMS and on the iHeartRadio app. Hold on. Alan, the lead singer for Escape, sounds like just like Steve Perry. Yeah, Journey was one of those bands a long time ago, 70s and 80s, that would get just mercilessly mocked because they were considered just corporate rock. Bands like, Boston and Journey. I always had a real soft spot for Journey. Except that the guy that's been with them now has been with them longer than Steve Perry was. This Arnel Pineda, this tiny dude they found
Filipino dude.
He's running a, back in the early days of YouTube, I think the guy was just posting videos of him singing Journey at karaoke and stuff. And so this guy's just rock and roll dream comes true. And he kills it. But I'm pretty sure, but again, I'm partial to Steve Perry era Journey because that was what I grew up listening to. But, I think this guy's been in the band longer than Steve Perry, which would be a strange point to hit.
But I mean, Steve Perry was the guy that recorded the song.
Was the guy, that's right. Yes.
Always going to make
But they've done a number of albums with this guy. I mean, you're right. All those hits were with Steve Perry. That's right.
But name one song.
With the new guy?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm
not even saying they're bad songs or good songs. I'm just saying they never made it to the radio the way those songs.
Right. I went on a Journey rabbit hole a while ago. I think I was driving to Michigan State for one of my daughter's concerts. And I was by myself, and I'm in the car, and I went down a Journey rabbit hole. And I had never really listened to a lot with the new guy. But they have a live album. A few years ago, Journey was a real dark horse on Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
They played, and I think people were like, oh, ha, ha, ha. But it was one of those legacy acts that they still like to book for Lollapalooza. I think Steely Dan did it some years ago or something, right? Because they were kind of coming back into the public consciousness with social media. And so Journey put out a live album of them at Lollapalooza, and it's really good. Because I was like, oh, okay, I get it. The guy's kind of doing Journey karaoke or whatever, and he can sing, obviously, but it was really good. They sound good. I don't know that I'd go see him, but I mean, But those guys ended up, hating each other's guts. Neil Schon and Steve Perry, and he was like, "Nah, I'm done. I'm good. I'm out." But it's like Foreigner. I was talking to a friend of mine this morning. She went to see the Foreigner and Styx show, and she's like, "It was real good." And I said, "It's weird to me because it's the Foreigner farewell tour, which they were trying to get going before COVID, but then that shut everything down. But Mick Jones is the last remaining original member of Foreigner. He's the guy that started the band, and they were going to go out and do it one last time. And then COVID shut everything down, and then he got Parkinson's. So the Foreigner farewell tour doesn't have one original member in it. Now, a couple of those guys have been in the band for a long time. Like 15, 18 years, something like that. But it'd be weird to be on the farewell tour, and there isn't an original. I'm sure they're all going to converge when they get inducted into the Rock Hall this fall. But to be on the road and you're not... there's nobody original in the band. That would be an odd thing. I do want to obviously move on from the Rupert Holmes thing, but a whole bunch of people texted me on the break that I had completely forgotten about, and you've probably never heard this song either. But before Rupert Holmes was a solo act, he was writing and performing in a band called The Boys. Buoys. Get it? The Boys. And they had a hit with a song called Timothy. Have you ever heard Timothy?
I don't think so.
He wrote them a hit song. I don't know what it was. There are a couple of hit songs on the subject of guys trapped in a mine. And Timothy is the guy that they have to eat. It's a hit song about cannibalism. You never heard Timothy?
No.
Timothy, Timothy, my God, what have we done?
Yeah.
Rupert Holmes wrote the song. So he wrote the Pina Colada song, but before that, hit song about cannibalism. You know, the Bee Gees back in the day had a song called like the 1915 mining disaster or something. It was a hit song. People talk about how pop music hasn't changed that much. I can't tell you the last time there was a pop star that had a song about a mining disaster. Granted, mining is probably less prevalent. I sound like Sal. Than it used to be, but Timothy is a banger. The only ones left to tell the tale were Joe and me. But yeah, 3 guys, only 2 came out.
Timothy, Timothy, where on earth did you go? Timothy.
What a weird song, though, right? If you're writing a pop song and the very first line is trapped in a mine, you're onto something there. Yeah, Timothy, what did we do? They never got around to finding Timothy. And they ate him. They had to chow down on Timothy because they were super, super hungry. And so, I'd love to be bouncing around Rupert Holmes' brain after he writes that, and they have a big hit with that song. How do you follow that up if that's your hit song? Guys, we got to do a song about a hot air balloon crash. We got to do a song about a plane that flies into the side of a mountain. I don't know. We can't just be the disaster guys. Well, we had a big song. We had a big hit song with cannibalism. That's how you know the guy's a genius. You make fun of the guy all you want for that dumb Pina Colada song. The guy wrote a hit song about cannibalism. Take that, Benny Blanco, who writes all the pop songs. A couple of Swedish guys and Benny Blanco. They're the ones writing all the pop songs. Katy Perry and, whatever. Do a song about cannibalism. With no double entendre. No, I'm going to eat you, that kind of stuff. No double entendre at all. Just a straight-ahead banger
About
a disaster or cannibal.
Mm-hmm.
Dealer's choice. Go ahead.
Some people, when they die, make an agreement to send a sign from beyond to their loved ones. Some will send a flower or a bird or a insect or whatever. I have a friend that finds nickels on the floor. That's her claim. However, I explained to my mom as she sits in hospice, make us find $100 bills, please. That would be the best that you could do for us in the afterlife. Gene from Parma.
Oh, kind of a morose Gene. He's usually like, Gene from Parma. He's a little downtrodden there. Well, his mom's in hospice. Yeah, it is funny. We kind of touched on it last week, but it is funny what people will attach as symbols for people who have passed away, you know? Because you hear the money thing a lot. You hear nickels and, and I find a dime. When you find it, there's dimes all over the place. What are you talking about? Every dime to you is a symbol from your grandfather? Well, my grandpa used to leave dimes around. Yeah, because his fine motor skills weren't that great. He was dropping dimes all the time. But whatever gets you through the night, I guess. Whatever makes you feel good. But, hey, Mom, could your symbol to us be $100 bills? Speaking of which, by the way, bad news today. Kind of a bummer. And people might not even have thought about it in a minute. You might need to be reminded. But Megabus is going bankrupt. Remember Megabus?
Yeah.
About a decade or so ago, Megabus was all the rage. We took it a couple of times. Their
Never had the pleasure.
Their claim was you could get, tickets for $1. They were supposed to be the alternative to Greyhound. The way that Frontier and Spirit and originally Southwest were supposed to be budget airlines. Megabus was going to be the alternative to Greyhound. And they ran through the U.S. and Canada, and you could see them downtown Cleveland. It wasn't long after we first moved here. We took the Megabus back to Chicago a couple of times, and their big hook you'd see on the sides of the bus was, tickets for $1. It's like, yeah, except the hook was if you were the very first person to get a ticket on the bus, it was $1. But most people, you're booking a bus ticket pretty late, and so you're paying $50 a seat. So the hook was a little misleading. Maybe they let the first few people get dollar tickets, but by and large, that's not what they were doing. But they're in 500 cities, and people still take it. I obviously haven't taken it in a long, long time. But Megabus filed for bankruptcy. Now, I don't know if this is Alex Jones' bankruptcy. This might just be more like, we're still going to run the buses, but people still use it. See them downtown. Now, if you've ever been on a Megabus, it is a rolling zoo because, Greyhound in and of itself was no treat, right? You ever took a Greyhound bus?
Never.
I mean, I didn't realize the one and only time I took a Greyhound bus was when I was going up north to visit my girlfriend at college. And so I didn't realize how frequently Greyhound stops. I didn't have a map. She had her.
There's no app back then.
No app back then. We're talking literally. We're talking 1990. My girlfriend was a year behind me, so I'm going to college in Chicago. She's going to college at UW Stevens Point. She's at University of Wisconsin, Stevens Point. And I was going to go see her and then drive her car back to Chicago and leave it with her parents at her parents' house. That was the plan. So I'm taking a one-way trip up, and I'm driving the car back. Be a cool guy, right? Now, what I didn't realize was when I got up there, I didn't realize it was going to be like a 10-hour trip because they stop every 20 feet on this goddamn thing. And then you stop in Milwaukee for like 3 hours or so, whatever. And so I didn't realize it was going to take that long, and I only brought like one tape with me. Mm-hmm. I had my Walkman. I only had one cassette. So I listened to that a lot on a loop for 10 hours. I had a couple books with me too, but so the one and only time I took a Grey, and it was no treat because you got people getting off at some of the stops. You got other people getting on. You know how a bus usually works. And then I get up there, she dumps me.
Ooh.
And I have to drive her car back. Now, if I'd had the Moxie, I would have said.
She didn't even wait till you drove back?
If I'd had the Moxie, I would have said, screw you. But I just, I did it. I didn't want to take that goddamn Greyhound back.
Right.
I'm like, fine, I'll drive the car because I'm a cool guy. No, whatever. It sucks, but, it wasn't like I hated her guts or anything. And so I drove the car back to her parents' house, and I couldn't believe how quick that trip was. I mean, it's still up there. Stevens Point is up there. But it wasn't no 10-hour trip on the Greyhound. But Megabus, because people were, in the early days, people were getting tickets for, $5. Oof. You know what you were going to get. Anything you had with you, you didn't let it out of your sight. You're just sitting there. You're not sleeping. Sitting there with one eye open. Like the Metallica song. Hello, Bill.
Yes.
What's up? Bill, hello. Bill is gone. All right. Well, maybe he couldn't hear me. I was excited to talk to Bill because my screen said that he was a psychic.
Mm.
You'd think that he would have seen that technical difficulty coming there. So
Maybe he did, but you still have to go through the, call just to get there, so then he can call back and tell us what he's going to say.
is that what it is?
I don't know.
You could be onto something. I don't know. You're talking about the video of the guy doing Metallica and Shaggy. Did you see the video of the people that got stuck upside down at the amusement park?
Yes, no, thank you. That was.
I would freak.
Oh my God, half an
out.
hour upside down, just thinking like, oh, I'm probably gonna die here. This is probably.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I can't believe more people didn't get like seriously hurt. That is not good for your body. If you haven't seen the video, you can find it. It's on TikTok and Instagram and all this stuff. There was some theme park. Over the PA, they announced the park is closed a couple of minutes after this thing is clearly not moving. They come over, they're like, yeah, the park's closed. Everybody got to get out. Oaks Park is what it's called. It's one of the oldest continually operating amusement parks in the entire country. This is Portland, Oregon. And it's one of these rides where everybody's seated in a ring, and it's a giant pendulum ride, right? Like it's got a ring on one end, a counterweight at the other. Everybody has a good time, but the thing is spinning as well. And it ends up getting stuck completely vertical, completely perpendicular to the ground, stuck where the ring is spinning, but they're not swinging back down. So 30 people were hanging upside down on the ride. They're in seats, they're buckled in, but they're upside down for a half an hour.
Over a half an hour, like probably closer to 40 minutes. That's
it was
long
on
time.
opening day for the summer for this park. I mean, I would go insane if I was I hate being upside down. If I'm on a roller coaster or something, since I was a kid, I have this thing with, I don't know what it is with my head or my blood flow. I don't know what it is. But being upside down makes me feel like I'm going to die. Like when I was a kid, if I had to do a somersault, I felt like I was going to die just for those couple of seconds. If I'm on a roller coaster or something, maybe it's a combination of the momentum and I don't know what it is. Roller coasters I can handle. I'm not going to freak out.
Well, you're only there for a second, too.
Well, same with a somersault, right? I mean,
Okay,
but when I was a kid, I mean, even as an adult, if my daughter was like, let's do somersaults, I'd say, absolutely not. There's something about that. So if I was upside down, I mean, even after 5 minutes, I'd be freaking out. And they had to find a way to like get people down. I don't know how the hell they did that. One dude, obviously they're talking to people afterwards.
It started going to the top, and then it came, and then I was like, oh, here's the part where it goes 360. I was still spinning like this for a second, but it wasn't moving backwards. And I was like, a minute passed, and I was like, this might be more serious than I may have deduced. I heard like screaming, crying, just pleas for help. It was like really discomforting. I thought it would very well be the end of my life.
Yeah, I would be one of the people screaming and crying on that thing. For real. Like you're upside down that everybody knows obviously the blood goes to your head, to your upper extremities. That's not good. Your lower body starts to compress your lungs. You're going to have a hard time breathing. That's not good. Nobody got hurt. They took like one person to the hospital. But everybody else, I guess, was okay.
Probably had headaches and stuff.
Oh, my God. At least. Park engineers and fire officials worked together to manually lower the ride.
That would have been probably the scariest part. Where they're manually lowering it. They're just like, what do they have, like a crank?
Yeah,
Or they just got a bunch of guys on a ladder just like move. Like, how do they do that?
I don't know. Probably some kind of crank thing. Yeah, I don't know. It's the ride called Atmosphere, F-E-A-R. Opening day of the park. So the cause of the malfunction is unknown. Oh, my God.
That also is not very encouraging. Like, yeah, it malfunctioned. We don't know why.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got a bunch of other rides, too. Go on those.
Yeah, go on like the little kiddie rides, the little roller coaster that's 3 feet off the ground. It has no loops. Man. Hey, Sarah Silverman is on tour. If you've never seen Sarah Silverman live and you like her, I got